Today I am going to explain the poem Home They Brought Her Warrior Dead. This poem was composed by Lord Alfred Tennyson. Welcome to our channel Quick Poetry Knowledge. This is your teacher Mehjabin. So the text of the poem goes like this. Home they brought her warrior dead. She nor swooned nor uttered cry. All her maidens watching said, she must weep or she will die. Then they praised him soft and low, called him worthy to be loved, truest friend and noblest foe, yet she neither spoke nor moved. Stole a maiden from her place, lightly to the warrior stepped, took the face cloth from the face, yet she neither moved nor wept. Rose a nurse of 90 years, set his child upon her knee, like summer tempest came her tears, sweet my child, I live for thee. Now we come to the summary of the poem Home They Brought Her Warrior Dead. The poem presents a very grim picture of a woman who had just become a widow. She has become so numb with shock that she just doesn't react when the dead body of her husband, who had been a soldier in the army, is brought home. The lady sees the coffin in front of her. It had been placed right before her eyes. Yet she doesn't react. She doesn't faint or fall down. She doesn't even cry. The widow is totally speechless. However, the visitors who had assembled there are uncomfortable with the situation. They had come here to mourn the death of a soldier, yet the widow is sitting there right in front of them without any emotion on her face. It appears as though she is in a state of trance. The young female visitors who had gathered there make a plan to do something that would induce the widow to weep. Giving expression to her grief was very important for her well-being. After all, she was not only the wife of this dead man, but also the mother of his child. The maidens begin to praise the soldier for all the good deeds he had done in the past. In soft voices, they remark that he had been an honorable man who deserved to be loved and cared about. They say that he was a man who deserved to be missed by his family. He had been the most trustworthy friend to anybody who knew him. And even to his enemies, he had been kind. The widow listens to the exchange of these words between her friends, but she does not react. One of the maidens came up with another idea. She wanted to try out a different technique to make the woman cry. She stood up and walked towards the dead body and removed the covering from its face. She felt that if the widow saw her dead husband's face, she would be able to believe that he was truly no longer alive, and the shock would definitely make her weep. However, no such thing happened. The widow saw the dead soldier's lifeless face but made no movement. Neither did she sob aloud. She just didn't react at all. However, a nurse in the gathering was more experienced than the rest of the people. She was a 90-year-old woman. She had seen long years in her life and was acquainted with the way human emotions worked. From her past professional experience in the medical world, she knew how women felt for their children. The nurse stood up and picked up the dead soldier's baby. She placed it on the knee of its widowed mother. This action of the nurse unleashed a storm in the warrior's wife. She broke down completely. For the first time, the realization struck her that her baby was fatherless now. In an instant, she felt protective towards her child. She made a promise to him that she would live for him and take care of him, although his father was no longer alive. And while she spoke to her baby, she cried and cried. The poet describes her tears to a summer storm. The plan of the nurse to make the widow cry had become successful. The widow's life was saved now. Had she not been able to express her grief, she would have surely died, and the baby would have become a complete orphan. Home they brought her warrior dead. So warrior, the meaning of the word warrior is soldier. Home they brought her warrior dead. This is the first line of the first stanza. The poem starts on a very grave note. There has been a death and the dead body had just been brought home. The deceased was a soldier in the army. Perhaps he had lost his life in a battle. His body has now been brought home to his wife. So the meaning of the word warrior, as I said before, it is soldier. She nor swooned nor uttered cry. Swooned means to lose consciousness, and uttered means to express, to speak something or to express something from the mouth. That is called uttered. When the widow saw the dead body of her husband, she did not react. She did not faint or fall down. She did not lose her consciousness. No cry escaped from her mouth. In other words, she did not weep to express her grief. So swooned, as I said before, it means to faint or to pass out or to lose consciousness. And uttered means to speak or to express. All her maidens watching said. Now maidens can refer to young unmarried women, young girls. The maidens or the young women who had come to visit the widowed lady now watched her and expressed their concerns to one another. These maidens could also be friends and neighbors of the family. So maidens means young unmarried girls. She must weep or she will die. Weep means to cry, to sob aloud. That is called weeping, crying. The maidens whispered amongst themselves that if their widowed friend did not weep, she would die. They felt that she needed to express her grief, otherwise this shock might take her life. So weep means to cry or to shed tears. Now next line, then they praised him soft and low. Then the maidens began to praise the dead warrior. They praised him in soft and low voices. The maidens murmured praises, remembering the good deeds of the soldier, because they hoped that their sentiments would make the widow lose control of her own emotions, and then she would end up crying. The maidens thought that the maidens believed that it was important for the woman to cry, for if she did not do so, it would negatively affect her health and that she would die. Called him worthy to be loved. The maiden said that the warrior had been an honorable man during his lifetime. He was somebody who had earned a lot of love, respect and goodwill from all those who knew him. So worthy means somebody who deserves something. That worthy means to deserve. So he was somebody who was worthy to be loved or to be cared about. So he had been a trustworthy man, and so people loved him dearly. He was somebody who had earned a lot of love, respect and goodwill from all those who knew him, and he had been a trustworthy man, and so people loved him dearly. So worthy means to deserve something, that is called worthy, honorable, respectable, reliable. Truest friend. Truest means the most genuine, and noblest means the most noble, the kindest, the gentlest, you can say. So they said that the dead soldier was the most genuine friend they had ever known. He was such a noble man that he was kind to even his enemy. As a rival or foe, he was the most generous and sympathetic person one could have ever known. So truest means the most genuine, and noblest means kindest or most generous. Yet she neither spoke nor moved. The lady heard the whispered praises made about her dead husband, but she did not react. She did not make any movement. She did not utter even a single word. So now we come to the next line of the poem. This is the next stanza. Stole a maiden from her place. A maiden who was also one of the visitors. Again, maiden means young woman, unmarried woman. A maiden who was also one of the visitors who had assembled there stood up from her seat. This maiden probably wanted to try out a different way of making the widow cry. So stole means to rise from a sitting position and walk softly, and maiden means a young lady. Lightly to the warrior stepped. The maiden walked towards the body of the dead soldier with soft footsteps. In other words, she walked soundlessly. Took the face cloth from the face. The maiden removed the covering from the face of the dead soldier. So face cloth means the covering on the dead body, the covering on the face of the dead body, that is called face cloth. So the maiden removed the covering from the face of the dead soldier. The maiden probably did this in order to make the face of the dead man visible to his wife. She probably hoped that if the widow saw the face of her dead husband, she wouldn't be able to control her emotions anymore and she would break down. So face cloth means a covering for the face. And again you have to see one thing, face cloth and face. These are examples of alliteration used in this line. Now alliteration can be defined as a poetic device through which the same letter or sound is created at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. So that is called alliteration. Now I'll just show you where these words are. This is face cloth and this is face. Both start with F. Here face cloth has F, and then face also has F. So these kind of words are called alliteration. Yet she neither moved nor wept. The widow made no movement even after the face covering was removed from the face of the dead warrior. She also did not weep or cry. Rose a nurse of 90 years. A 90-year-old nurse, who also happened to be one of the visitors there, decided to try out another technique now. She stood up from where she had been sitting. So nurse and 90, these are again examples of alliteration. The purpose of alliteration is to create a musical effect in the poem. So let's go back to the line, nurse and 90. These are again examples of alliteration. Set his child upon her knee. The nurse picked up the dead soldier's child. She put it on the knee of its widowed mother. The nurse wanted to see how the widow would react now. Being a very elderly woman with vast years of experience and worldly wisdom, the nurse was confident that on seeing her baby, the mother wouldn't be able to control her emotions anymore. The nurse was sure that the widow would break down now. So set means to put down. So let's see where the word set is located in the line. Set. So this line starts with the word set. So set means to put down the baby. Like summer tempest came her tears. Summer tempest came her tears. Again you can see tempest and tears. These are examples of alliteration. But before that we'll just check out what the line means. Tears gushed down the cheeks of the widow like a summer storm. The lady couldn't control her feelings anymore. She just howled. She wept uncontrollably. The plan of the 90-year-old nurse worked now. This is what the old lady had actually wanted to happen, and it happened. So tempest means a violent storm. So, and then tempest and tears, as I said before, these are examples of alliteration. So tears are being compared to tempest. Tears are being compared to tempest. Like summer tempest came her tears. This kind of comparison between two different things in an interesting way is called a simile. It is a figure of speech. So before we move on to the next line, we'll just let's go through the line. So now tempest means a violent storm, as I said, and then tempest and tears, these are examples of alliteration. So like summer tempest came her tears. Like summer tempest. Like summer tempest, this is again a figure of speech, and that figure of speech is called a simile. Sweet my child, I live for thee. So this is the concluding line of the poem. The widowed mother addressed her baby as a precious child. She made a promise to him that he still had a mother, although his father was dead and gone from the world. In other words, the mother seems to have realized that she had a strong reason to live, and this reason was her baby. She needed to take care of it, and in order to do so, she first needed to take care of herself. She needed to express her grief like a normal woman. Not giving an outlet to her shock and heartbreak would definitely destroy her, and she would even die. And she had a baby to take care of. She couldn't leave the world like her husband. This is something she realized, and she also realized that the baby needed her badly. And as a result, the mother, once the realization crept in, the mother cried out, and she also did so in order that she would survive the shock, she would survive the bereavement. So the plan of the 90-year-old nurse to make the widow cry, it really worked. So sweet means precious, it also means dear, it can also mean beloved. So we'll just go back to the word sweet my child, I live for thee. Thee means you. Sweet my child, that means my precious child, my dear child, my beloved child. Sweet my child, I live for thee, that means now my purpose of living is you. I have to live for you. So with that we come to the end of this explanation, and if you have liked our presentation, please give this video a like, and please share it with your friends. Thank you so much.